Australia, the driest inhabited continent on Earth. 70% of its landmass receives little rainfall. Australians call this region the Outback. The first Australians arrived here over 60,000 years ago and formed deep spiritual connections with this land. The Outback is a land of extremes. And yet, the natural world endures. This is the story of the plants and wildlife that inhabit a landscape like nowhere else. The jagged peaks of the Flinders Ranges, forced upward 500 million years ago. Temperatures here can exceed 40 degrees Celsius and drop below freezing at night. Few creatures can tolerate such extremes. The yellow-footed rock wallaby, a lesser-known member of the kangaroo family, living from the meager pickings on these slopes. During winter, they are active throughout the day, often basking in the sun on cool mornings. Rock wallabies are highly agile, living in groups of up to 100, led by a dominant male. He has exclusive mating rights to all females and shows his interest by tail wagging. But she's playing hard to get. After leaving the pouch, a mother's interaction with its young is minimal, often leaving joeys on their own while they feed. But joeys must be alert. There are predators around. Australia's largest raptor, the Wedge-tailed Eagle. Wedge-tails have binocular vision. Using muscles that elongate their eyeballs, they can pinpoint prey from large distances. They feed mainly on small mammals, though a large part of their diet is carrion, the decaying flesh of dead animals. Its long hooked beak, an evolution to quickly rip and pull meat from a carcass. There are echidnas here too, searching for ants and termites in the undergrowth. The immensity of Australia's arid region is difficult to comprehend. 5.4 million square kilometers, an expanse 1.5 times greater than the size of India. Yet, only 2% of Australia's population live here. The Simpson Desert. These are the longest parallel sand dunes on Earth. Some ridges continue uninterrupted for over 200 kilometers. Held in place by vegetation, only the dune crests are moved by the wind. A Darkling Beetle. It has lost the ability to fly. Wing covers now fuse to its body, sealing its shell to prevent water loss. At night, it feeds on decaying plants. But the sun is rising. Now it must shelter to avoid the desert heat. Between sand dunes lies vegetated flats, corridors for nomadic species. A family group of emus. Standing up to 2 meters tall, emus are Australia's largest birds and are well adapted to arid conditions. Its inner feathers allow airflow near the skin for cooling. Outer feathers give protection from the sun. To protect their eyes in dust storms, emus have a third transparent eyelid. It moves horizontally across the eye. Emus can survive for many days without food or water, drawing from fat stores maintained on their backs. But the desert also contains deadly inhabitants. The strap-snouted brown snake. Highly venomous. This one is searching for rodents. Detecting scent with the use of its tongue. With keen eyesight, they are quickly alerted to movement. But no luck here. Its light color provides camouflage from desert predators. Vegetation in the driest regions is mostly confined to small shrubs. There is one rare species that defies this rule: the waddy tree. It looks like a she-oak, but is in fact a desert wattle, a survivor from ancient times. Waddy trees are extremely slow-growing. This juvenile is a meter high and is more than 30 years old. Mature trees may live as long as 600 years. Over time, they will develop long hanging phyllodes, well adapted to reduce water loss. In a landscape with very few features, waddy trees are an important habitat for desert birds. In the heart of Australia's arid region stands the towering sandstone monolith of Uluru, sacred to Australia's first inhabitants. Since European colonization, more than 3,000 introduced species have arrived in Australia, impacting on local ecosystems. Wild camels, perfectly adapted for Australia's hot, arid conditions, introduced for transport to open up Central Australia. When mechanization arrived, many were released into the wild, where they have thrived. Australia has the largest population of wild dromedary camels in the world, estimated at 1.2 million. Wild camels deplete scarce water supplies and cause damage to fragile salt lake ecosystems. The Uluru region receives an average of 300 millimeters of rainfall a year. When the rains fall over Uluru, it is an extraordinary sight. Following rain, desert flowers emerge. This is the Parakeelya. It spends much of its life as a seed or as a very small plant. But Parakeelya has an ingenious survival strategy. Following rain, it rapidly draws water into its succulent leaves, developing into a large green mass, sustaining it through the long, dry months ahead. Sturts Desert Pea, found throughout Central Australia. Its appearance is short-lived. Within weeks, its flowers turn to seed. Dispersed by the wind, they will remain in the soil, possibly for years, awaiting the next desert rainfall. The MacDonnell Ranges, formed over 300 million years ago. Giant gorges, carved by powerful erosive forces. Sheltered below, cold water pools, oases for wildlife. Dry creek beds are flanked by river red gums, providing shelter for many desert species, like these wild Budgerigars. This pair are courting. Budgerigars breed when seeds become abundant. Like all parrots, Budgerigars require a tree hollow to nest. Here, she will lay between 4 and 6 eggs. Her young will fledge 4 weeks after hatching. Budgerigars are supremely adapted to survival in the outback, capable of flying long distances to find seed and water. Meandering south is the Finke River, the oldest riverbed on Earth. It flows only a few days a year, its waters never reaching their destination, disappearing into the sands of the Simpson Desert. For 350 million years, it has shaped the surrounding landscape. This valley is home to more than 3,000 red cabbage palms, many of which are several hundred years old. Their existence here in the centre of Australia has long been a mystery, until recently. It is believed that their seeds were brought here some 15,000 years ago, most likely by Aboriginal inhabitants. Many desert species avoid the heat of the day. Emerging from their burrows after dark is the bilby. Once found across much of Australia's continent, their numbers have been decimated by foxes and feral cats. Today, only small populations live in Australia's most arid regions. Its long hairless ears release heat, keeping it cool. With poor eyesight, it relies on hearing and smell to find food, which includes insects, seeds, and bulbs. Bilbies rarely drink, obtaining most of their water needs from their food. The expansive alluvial plains of western Queensland This region is known as Channel Country. Its name arising from the water channels that crisscross these floodplains. Little rain falls here, in some parts as little as 150 millimeters a year. When it does, rain is usually absorbed straight into the earth, with any runoff feeding small water holes. But occasionally, the Channel Country is transformed. When monsoonal rains push down from the north, resulting in enormous floods. In some places, swelling to 80 kilometers wide, as massive quantities of water are moved towards the Lake Eyre Basin, depositing soil, nutrients, and seed across the floodplain. Within weeks, the dry plains are transformed. Low-lying regions becoming giant wetlands. And then, almost miraculously on cue, waterbirds arrive. As fish numbers in these river systems peak. Australian pelicans, perfectly adapted for long-distance flight. They can fly continuously throughout the day and night. Though not all will survive the journey. They stop here to feed on their way to Lake Eyre, where they will breed in massive numbers. third of all Australian pelicans are believed to start their life in the Lake Eyre Basin. Wading birds like this spoonbill hunt the shallows. Welcome swallows gather mud to build nests. Many species arrive to exploit the abundant food sources. But before too long, the waters will subside, and the visiting bird life will leave as this green oasis gradually dries. The Australian Outback is unique. An immense arid landscape, exceedingly hot and dry, with occasional erratic rainfall. Yet, Australia's plant and animal inhabitants have endured. They are the survivors, those that have evolved and adapted for existence in the extremes.